Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with Ron Placone and Steph Zamorano.
I'm miserable.
Howdy, howdy.
And they switched seats. It's been a crazy couple of days in the news media. For instance, Chris Hayes actually did a report on Israel killing Palestinians in Gaza, and he did it accurately. It was only 3 minutes, but he did it. And he hasn't been fired yet, but I'm guessing that was a tough meeting after that show. So I'll do another video about that, but I want to do this video. I want to do this video. I told you it's been a strange couple of days. Chris Hayes tells the truth about Israel-Palestine. Tucker Carlson stands up against the war. Standing up, telling the truth about Trump's war. You think I'm kidding? Let's watch. This is unbelievable. So this is how bad the news media is. This is how horrible they are. Fox News is now the beacon of reasonable thought on war. Tucker Carlson does a great job on this, actually. So it just goes to show you he could do a great job all the time if he wanted. So watch this.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Leaders on both sides of the aisle in Congress, in the media, in our intelligence services, in virtually every overfunded think tank in Washington, have suddenly aligned tonight on a single point of agreement. America must go to war in Syria immediately. Bashar al-Assad cannot continue to lead that country. He must be overthrown.
So when the news media, the Democrats, the Republicans, the military-industrial complex all agree on that, something's wrong. Something's wrong. There's nobody's allowed to be an anti-war voice? No. Except Tucker Carlson.
Assad is an evil man, they tell us. His latest crime is a chlorine gas attack carried out over the weekend by his forces against a rebel-held suburb of Damascus. Assad's poison gas suffocated children. Pictures of the aftermath of that are all over the internet, and they are horrifying. Assad is a monster. That's the official story. Almost everyone in power claims to believe it. The push to war in Syria, by the way, has united politicians from both sides. Lindsey Graham and Howard Dean typically agree on very little. Not much at all. But today they are both calling for war in Syria. Graham is demanding massive attacks on the Syrian military. Dean is going even further than that. On Twitter, he called the president, quote, a wimp for merely sending thousands of troops and launching tons of bombs at Syria. That's not enough for Howard Dean, who, as you may remember, once ran for president as the peace candidate. Tonight, he wants total war in Syria. Television pundits, of course, strongly agree. This morning, the foreign policy team over on MSNBC explained that it's far more important for American troops to fight in Syria than it is to secure our own border here in America. Watch.
Now, this is pretty stunning. If you're not sitting down, please sit down. This is even me. I was like slack-jawed at this. So here's Andrea Mitchell. These are people, Andrea Mitchell, who's lived through the Vietnam fake war, lived through the first Gulf War fake war, lived through the second Iraq war fake war, Libya fake war, and now here she is, and here's what she has to say.
Question that now, all these years later, it is Donald Trump's challenge. He has to take action. He's spoken to Macron. What he ought to do is
He has to take action. She's lived through how many bullshit wars? And here she is on TV. She's given a platform and she advocates he has to have more war.
Well, and let's point out, can I add real quick that the outlet here, this is Tucker Carlson on Fox News, they're showing an MSNBC clip. So just underline that the right-wing network is criticizing the supposed left-wing network. We all know that's not what it actually is, but they're criticizing the left-wing network for being too hawkish about war.
Yes.
The right-wing network is doing that to the progressive
And
network.
you wonder why we have Trump? And you still wonder why we have Trump? We have two parties that are unbelievably pro-war, and you wonder why we have Trump, who promised to take us out of the Middle East, and then the intelligence community blackmails him for 2 years straight, and now he's going to do it for him. Here we go, more Tucker Carlson.
action. There has to be a comprehensive response.
As Trump leaves to fight his imaginary border war, he's leaving the real war where we could make a difference and said he's turning it over to Assad.
The real war, where we can make a difference. What real war? ISIS and al-Nusra are trying to overthrow Assad, who's a secular leader. For what? Why are they doing that? Why? Why are we involved? We're right now assisting Saudi Arabia in creating a genocide in Yemen. But but now we care about people in Syria? Really, Joe? You fucking knucklehead.
To Iran and to ISIS, this is something that Barack Obama wouldn't even do if confronted with these set of facts.
Trump has to take action in Syria. Everyone nods sagely. That ought to make you nervous. Universal bipartisan agreement on anything is usually the first sign that something deeply unwise is about to happen, if only because there is nobody left to ask skeptical questions. And we should be skeptical of this, starting with the poison gas attack itself. All the geniuses tell us that Assad killed those children. But do they really know that? Of course they don't really know that. They're making it up. They have no real idea what happened. Actually, both sides in the Syrian civil war possess chemical weapons. How would it benefit Assad using chlorine gas last weekend? Well, it wouldn't. Assad's forces had been winning the war in Syria. The administration just announced its plans to pull American troops out of Syria, having vanquished ISIS. That's good news for Assad. And about the only thing he could do to reverse it and to hurt himself would be to use poison gas against children. Well, he did it anyway, they tell us. He's that evil. Please. Keep in mind, this is the same story they told us last April. Do you remember that? It was almost exactly a year ago. The new administration announced it was no longer seeking to depose Assad from power. Regime change was no longer our policy. So the usual war chorus in Washington started yelping, went berserk, and days later, Assad supposedly used sarin gas against civilians in Syria. There was video. We bombed a Syrian airbase in response to that. At the time, this show asked what seemed like the obvious question: are we really sure that Assad did that? It seems weirdly timed and counterproductive to him. Shut up, they explained. Of course we're sure. What an unpatriotic question. But of course they were lying. 2 months ago, the Secretary of Defense admitted that actually we still have no proof that Assad used sarin gas last year. The story, it turns out, was propaganda. It was designed to manipulate Americans, just like so much of what they say. We've seen this movie before, and we know how it ends. But just for the sake of argument, let's assume they're not lying this time. Let's assume Assad did just use chlorine gas.
So it strains a reasonableness. It all credulousness. It's makes absolutely no sense, completely counterintuitive, and it happened exactly the same way twice. He's completely right. Mattis admitted in February that there is absolutely no evidence that Assad did a sarin gas attack. Zero evidence. That barely got reported, but we already did the bombing. And now here's all these assholes on TV, the same assholes who said we needed to go into Iraq the first time, the same assholes who said we had to go into Iraq the second time, the same assholes who said we had to go into Libya, the same assholes who said we should stay in Afghanistan, and now the same assholes are saying we need to do this again. And it's so easy to see through them. Tucker Carlson, because all you have to do is read and remember.
Kids. He's perfectly capable of that, by the way, not defending his moral character. Let's say he did do it. Would that be worth starting a new war over? Overthrowing Assad's regime in Syria would result in chaos. Many thousands would die. In fact,
let me just put it to you this way. So we want to start a war because he gassed 60 people. That's how many people they say were killed, right?
Yeah, we got 40, we have dozens, we have 60. Not
60 people killed in this gas attack. That's what they say. So let's take them at their word. Okay, he killed 60 people with a gas attack. We bomb hospitals all the time. We're right now helping Saudi Arabia commit a genocide in Yemen. Right now. We killed 500,000 Iraqis with our sanctions in the 90s. Look how many... We don't care about killing people. That's not what this is about. If we cared about killing people, we'd be trying to stop this genocide in Yemen, but we're not.
Well, I'd also add, if we were worried about killing people, we would provide health care for our own citizens.
Right.
You might likely see the genocide of one of the last remaining Christian communities in the Middle East, and we ought to care about that. Some of the dead, of course, would be American servicemen. A new war would cost us tens of billions of dollars, maybe hundreds of billions. Would it make America safer? Would it make the region more stable? Let's see. How exactly did regime change work in Iraq and Libya? Doesn't matter, say our moral leaders on CNN and everywhere else. Atrocities like this cannot be tolerated. Okay, but let's be real. We do tolerate atrocities like this all the time. For example, there's a devastating famine killing children in Yemen right now. The Saudis are causing that famine.
Does this guy sound like he's just... are we doing the same news show together? Are you kidding me? I've been doing... You look at our Syria, look at this, and then look at... He must have watched our video, and then he dropped this video. Or it's just so goddamn obvious that anybody who isn't trying to screw you into a war can see the difference. It's obvious. And Tucker Carlson, for whatever reason, decides to tell the truth about this right now, which is fantastic that he's doing it, and it's fantastic he's doing it on Fox. That's fantastic that he's doing it there. That's much more helpful than me doing it here, I think.
And I didn't read anywhere that he lost advertisements.
Oh, he didn't lose advertisers?
No.
Oh, okay.
Should we drop tomahawks on Riyadh in response? Not until it's on YouTube, apparently. When you conduct foreign policy by viral video, pictures are essential. But in real life, Syria is a highly complicated place. With Assad gone, who would run it exactly? Do we have another strongman in place to install? Or is it our hope that a stable democracy will magically appear in the wake of this protracted civil war? And who exactly are these moderate rebels you're always hearing about, the ones that we're supporting with your tax dollars? Well, a lot of them turn out to be Islamist crazies. For example, the city where the chemical attack just occurred is mostly controlled by the Army of Islam. It's a radical group that has called for establishing an Islamic state under Sharia law in Syria. That group's founder called for exterminating all Shia Muslims and Alawites from the country. But we're supposed to wage a new war on this group's behalf. Why is that exactly? Back in 2013, when the Syrian civil war was still in its early days, one onlooker weighed in on Twitter. Here's part of what he wrote, quote, "We should stay the hell out of Syria. The rebels are just as bad as the current regime. What will we get for our lives and billions of dollars?"
I wonder who that Twitterer was. I bet I know who that Twitterer was. Let's see if you can guess.
In another tweet, he said this, quote, "Let the Arab League take care of Syria. Why are these rich Arab countries not paying us for the tremendous cost of such an attack?" And in yet another tweet, he said this, "What will we get for bombing Syria beside more debt and a possible long-term conflict?" Of course, you know who wrote that. It was Donald Trump. And he was right. And that's one of the reasons he got elected president. And now the same people who brought you a dying American middle class, undefended American borders, and endless pointless wars in countries you could not find on a map are telling the president he's got to depose Assad for reasons that are both unclear and demonstrably dishonest. And by the way, it may happen. But before it does, Congress ought to consider a brand new constitutional amendment. Let's call it the Lindsey Graham Amendment. And here's what it would say. Congress shall topple no government until it finishes rebuilding the last government it toppled. And furthermore, talk show generals shall be required to personally visit the battlefield of every war they advocate for. End of amendment. That would have an immediate and positive effect. Let's hope it passes.
That last part was awesome.
Dude, this whole segment, when I saw this, I sort of, and still, I mean, I've watched this video several times now, and every time, especially when he mentioned the bipartisan part, it blew my mind, because one of the things I say these days, I'm like, you know, whenever I hear bipartisanship now, I think the Republicans have a really bad idea, and the Democrats are going to help them sell it. That's what I hear when I hear bipartisanship these days. Mm-hmm. And he said, whenever you hear that, be skeptical right now. I'm like, this is Tucker Carlson.
And you know who else said that? George Carlin.
Yep.
George Carlin says bipartisan means there's an extra big screwing coming your way.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I'm sure I'm.
But I'm more used to agreeing with George Carlin.
Yeah.
That's pretty regular for me. Tucker Carlson, not as much.
So why? So I don't even care why Tucker feels free to tell the truth about this, because he's going against the president. Because the president's vowing to bomb. He bombed last time, and it was wrong. And I love what he says. Oh, let's believe them. So what about the last time we unseated a leader? What happens how did that go? And the generals would come on. I would say I would add a little bit to that. Not only do they have to go to the battlefield, the generals, but B, they have to divulge who they're being paid by, because they're all being paid by defense contractors to advocate for war, just like they did all the time. But they don't tell you that. They don't tell you when they bring a general on the news that he's being paid by a defense contractor to advocate for more war, which is why the news sucks and which is why we have a show. Look at Tucker Carlson. I bet you he got advertising on that. I did a segment almost verbatim what he said, very similar, parallel to exactly what he said. They demonetized our video. YouTube can't have that getting out, but I'm sure it's all, but so the advertisers don't mind. They've advertised on Fox News. They don't have a problem with Tucker Carlson doing this report. YouTube and Google does. YouTube and Google does. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about war making strange bedfellows. Tucker Carlson. All right. And all right. Wow.
If I just heard that transcript being read by somebody,
Right.
I'd be like, oh, I got to subscribe to this person.
Yeah, that
Who
would
is
be
that?
Well, it's just amazing how he can, he's actually done great work on Russiagate. Tucker Carlson, he's done great work on this BS Syrian war. So that's how bad everyone is being, that it falls on people like me and Tucker Carlson to tell the truth about war. When it hinges on me and Tucker Carlson to tell you the truth about war, we're in fucking trouble. We're going to be in another war. We're in that war, by the way, already. We're in that war.
We're in how many wars right now?
7, 8, who knows, really? A lot of
Who's
them are
counting?
secret. We don't find out until we have soldiers that get killed there. Then we're like, oh, yeah, we're in Niger. Did we tell you? Oh, yeah, we're back in Somalia. I don't know if I said anything. Whew. Wow. 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 And there's a lot of people who will shame me for playing a Tucker Carlson video. There's a lot of fucking morons out there who have their head so far up someone's neoliberal ass that they're going to actually castigate me for telling the truth about war. And I don't care who else is against war. I'm with those who are against war. Hillary Clinton gets to be in bed with Henry Kissinger. Nobody had a problem with Hillary Clinton saying Henry Kissinger is her friend, a fucking war criminal. Nobody has a problem with being friends with George Bush, a war criminal. If I'm going to ally with someone like that, it's going to be someone who's against war. But you watch the comments, watch the morons, watch the idiots, watch the people who are a cancer on this fucking country. These people who cheerlead the establishment into war again. Wow. And you wonder why we can't have nice things? It's because those kind of people are so fucking stupid. Tucker Carlson and me, a dumb jagoff nightclub comedian, can easily debunk this. Easily. And you're telling me Joe Scarborough, you're telling me Andrea Mitchell doesn't know better? Is she really that stupid? Is Rachel Maddow really that dumb? Honestly, is Anderson Cooper really that dumb? Wolf Blitzer is. Is Anderson Cooper really that dumb? Come on. Do you they've just watched us go into how many illegal wars? We're still in Afghanistan fucking 18 years later. 17 years? I'm not a math surgeon.
Going on 18.
Going on 18.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, help us all. So you're not going to get the truth like that. You get it on Fox News of all places on Tucker Carlson's show. Unbelievable. Everybody says Shep Smith's the truth teller over there. I didn't see his video. Maybe he did one. I didn't see it. Have you seen the Shep Smith video?
I've not seen anything.
That's
from him,
anti-war? I haven't seen it either. The only frickin' guy in the whole news is Tucker Carlson getting it right.
And I'll also mention, because on a previous video, you did say, you were like, hey, if anyone knows anyone else that got it right, please send it to us. We got over, literally, I'm not embellishing, 100 submissions of people saying Tucker Carlson and sending us this video. And then there were a few other, like, there was a German network that got it right, and a few other outliers. But mostly it was, as far as American corporate media goes, everyone was like, Tucker Carlson.
Wow. So we have to fight back against the bastards. And the way we can do it on a micro level right here is you support the show by making sure you're subscribed. That doesn't cost you anything. Just check. Make sure you're subscribed and then ring that bell. You have to click that bell so they let you know when we drop a video. Otherwise, they won't tell you because they're already not telling people. You become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material. You all be coming to our live show June 30th in Portland, Oregon. You can do that, or you can check us out on Saturdays at 2 p.m. We do a live Solid Chat Saturday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. You ask us questions, we'll answer them. That's on Saturdays, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Plus, we're steaming it. We're on Steam It right now. We're steaming it right now. Thanks for your support.